Bit of a Stretch is the 4th episode of the 9th season of Minnie's Bow-Toons, or the 1st season of Pet Hotel. And it is good, there are some great moments, but there's a huge oversight that makes the whole episode basically completely incorrect. And I'll talk more about that in a moment. We are at the Pet Hotel and Floofy's owner comes in with Floofy. Floofy is an adorable little poodle, absolutely gorgeous, beautifully animated. And Floofy's owner has high standards for Floofy. And Floofy is only allowed to stay there if there is a yoga studio. And Minnie and Daisy say yes, but they panic because the yoga studio is not ready, which is not true. In the previous episode, Here We Goat Again, when the goat is running around the hotel, we see a meditation session where Clarabelle is meditating with, I think, 3 other animals. They are on yoga mats. They are basically in a yoga studio on yoga mats. So the fact that now the yoga studio isn't ready, it's a bit of an oversight. Maybe they edited these or uploaded these out of sequence. So it was a little bit annoying, but once you overlook that, it's a fun episode. The yoga studio is actually full of piñatas, which was quite peculiar. And once they've stuffed the piñatas into the cupboards and out of sight, it's time for the makeshift yoga session. And what I thought was pretty entertaining here, Clarabelle is hosting the session and she's doing all of the positions, and she's doing downward facing dog and the cat pose and cow pose. I found this to be very amusing, and obviously because they're cats and dogs and cows, and they don't focus on the poses too much, but I'd say just long enough for any viewers watching at home to maybe copy along, to do the same stretches, which is obviously really beneficial. And then it takes it one step further. Things get a little out of hand because the animals are not really paying attention. Figaro's off playing with a ball of yarn and the animals are attracted to a beam of light. And Minnie and Daisy, obviously not wanting to lose Floofy as a guest, pretend that this is a new set of yoga poses inspired by people who are guests at the hotel. And they name them the Kitten Mitten and the Puppy Pounce, and then we have the Floofy Twist. And I love that because it's encouraging viewers at home, particularly younger viewers, to do their own poses and make up their own yoga moves, which is adding a creative element. It makes it a much more involved experience. Some children might love copying the yoga poses. For some children, it could be quite boring. So involving that creative element, I think, could make it a lot more beneficial and enjoyable for young children. And of course, they can also do the Kitten Mitten and the Puppy Pounce and these other moves as well. And I thought it was quite sweet. So once we overlook the fact that they claimed the studio wasn't ready, even though we'd already seen Clarabelle and some animals on yoga mats, granted they were meditating, not doing any particular yoga poses, other than, I guess, they were in lotus position. I didn't pay that much attention. The rest of it is very sweet, and we end with Floofy's owner saying that Floofy can stay there. Now let me talk to your gourmet chef. And up pops Cuckoo Loca. So it was quite a sweet ending. The animation is obviously really stunning. The yoga space looked really great. It's a nice big room with really nice colours. Floofy is adorable. Floofy's owner is incredibly annoying, but in a way that's very, very effective. And ultimately, the continuity error aside, I think that this has a lot to offer. Definitely could encourage some viewers to become interested in yoga, and obviously the option to create their own yoga moves. The other great thing about creating their own yoga moves is that not every viewer will be able to do downward dog and cow pose and cat pose. So by encouraging them to create their own stretches, it makes it a much stronger experience and a much more inclusive experience. So I think they did some really great things there. And ultimately, the continuity error aside, Bit of a Stretch is a decent episode of Minnie's Bow-Toons.